Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show, back to the week where you get to rise. This is so exciting to be together in our live audience series that we're doing right now. And I'm so happy to kick off another great week with you all. If you're watching this on YouTube or other socials, just so you can interact with us in the comments and we will read them all and respond to you. Those of you that are here in the live audience, we're so excited that you're here. Let's rub our hands together, okay? Remember, this balances the right and left hemisphere of the brain. And we are going to have a powerhouse session today on the 4 things that thought leaders, experts, authors, coaches, entrepreneurs need to succeed in 2024. Now, is this a comprehensive list of everything? I don't know. These are the 4 things that I am focusing on, that we're coaching into in Thought Leader Academy, and that I'm going to be training all of our clients on next week in the Best-Selling Book Bootcamp. And if you do not have a ticket to that, we are opening that to everyone. Free as our gift. Make sure you get that while you're listening to this today. Make sure you are signed up, because I'm going to teach how to use a book to do all 4 of the things that we're going to cover today. I'm going to teach you how to do that using a book next week, May 28th through the 31st. So make sure you are registered. And if you can't come live, you can get the replays each day and catch up with us. But you want to make sure you are availing yourself of this training, because it can make the difference between not only your book making a huge impact and income and the movement that you want it to start and lead, but also to make sure that that happens in your business, your consulting work, your coaching work, and everything else. So give me a 4 in the comments or chat as you're listening if you are excited to learn and review the 4 things that great leaders need to succeed right now, second half of 2024. Now, some of these I spoke into a little bit in trainings in the first part of the year, and I've added a 4th. So 3 of these, if you've trained with us and you're training with us in Thought Leader Academy, you've heard 3 of these. But I added a 4th over the weekend, and I'll share exactly why I added it. Okay. So here we go. Let's jump right into it and get going. So the 4 things, the first is expand when others contract. What does this mean? This means that while other people say, oh, people are disengaged online, there's so many other people that do what I do, no one shows up when I do a live, who's going to read my book anyway? Instead of listening to those gremlins, right? That's what we call them here. Instead of listening to those gremlins, I want everybody, if you're listening or watching, open up your arms and say, I expand when others contract. When my gremlin tells me to contract, I'm going to expand anyway. And the inner critic says it doesn't matter. It does matter. And you'll see as we go through the 4 things that if you do these 4 things, and when you do the 4 things, that you will be the person who rises like the lighthouse that people are looking for. And everybody that listens to all the economic stuff and all the news and what their own inner critics are saying, and they contract and stop showing up and stop writing their book and stop making the videos and reaching out to people and all the things and going and speaking, you'll be the person who's actually there for your people. Okay. Expanding when others contract. It's hard sometimes. Let's acknowledge, why do we want to contract? If you're reaching out to people and you're not getting any response, or you're getting no's, or you're going online and no one's engaging with you, it's very human to say, well, what's the point? I'll go watch Netflix. There's a lot of good TV. I'll go eat Ben and Jerry's. I'll go take a walk, like whatever your thing is. The problem is that people are investing in mentorship and help and coaching and resources and support right now. And they will invest with the 3 people that most recently showed up for them. That's the research. People will invest with the 3 people that most recently reached out or came across their feed or sent them an email or direct messaged them or invited them to something. They will invest. They are investing. And you want to be the person, because the way you do it is incredible. So it's human to contract when the world and others and your inner critic is loud. But what I'm inviting to do today is to be a superhuman leader. Is anyone up? Put S in the comments or the chat if you are a yes to really digging deep and really going big and really saying, no matter what's happening outside and what my inner critic is telling me, I am committed to being a superhuman leader in 2024. I am committed to being a superhuman thought leader, which means we don't let those very human feelings about rejection or apathy or fear or doubt, imposter syndrome, we don't let that drive our behavior. We expand when others contract. All right. So it's time to be this is a kind of year when we get to be superhuman. All right. And that doesn't mean we don't have feelings and we don't deserve tons of support and we don't love on ourselves extra huge and do more self-care. But it's a long game play because everybody that contracts right now is just joining in the contraction. When you expand and bring out your book anyway, and make the video anyway, and reach out to people anyway, and go speak anyway, you're the lighthouse, right? Everyone else in the dark house on the shore, you don't see it, the lighthouse. Yes, I love it. I'm seeing so much commitment. I'm seeing so much commitment in this group today. Okay, so we ready for number two? Number two, again, if you've trained with me, you know this one. The research is showing that people are requiring 9 hours of interactive, intimate time with you in order to make a high ticket investment. So if you're a coach and consultant and entrepreneur and people invest more than $1,000 or a little more dollars with you, that you are this is what people need to feel trust. Buyer trust is lower when there's contraction. So the way we overcome that is we show up, we expand when others contract, and we give people, if they need 9 hours of interactive time, we give that to them. That can be through teaching masterclasses. It can be through workshops. It can be through, events that you do. Bless you, those of you see it. It can be through, your book is what I'm going to teach you how to do next. If you don't want to do that all with hours and hours of repeated hours of your time with each individual person, you're going to use your book, which is why I say, if you can go on social and in Zoom here in our audience and drop the link for the boot camp next week, because I'm going to train specifically on these 4 things for the first time ever. It's different training. All right. And make sure that you have so you can see not just any book is going to give them the kind of 9 hours of interactive experience that they need. It needs to be a specific kind of book, strategically engineered to create intimacy, trust, rapport, interactive opportunities. It's the way that, we've created this particular structure in Thought Leader Academy. Why did I create it? Because our clients wanted people to not just be readers, but to be in relationship and to continue serving them and to make sure they get a transformation through the additional services that you provide. All right. So 9 hours, you could do that yourself over and over and over. Or you can use Thought Leader assets like a book and videos and things we're going to train on in the boot camp next week. And you can have that happening while you're doing other things, right? Because if you do the book in this way, people are going to have that experience and they're going to feel the intimacy and they're going to know their boxes are going to be checked authentically if you're their person. Not everyone that reads our book is our person, right? But that's okay. All right. So that's number 2, 9 hours of interactive time. And next week, I'm going to train you all on how to get those 9 hours in the most authentic and deep and real deal way possible. That's not also you every single time spending 9 hours with every person. Okay. Let's take a breath. We got 2 down, 2 to go. All right. Number 3. Number 3, again, if you've trained with me earlier in the year, you know that the new research shows that it takes 8 or more follow-ups with someone for them to, not everyone, some people are going to have that 9 hours of time with you or your book, and they're going to invest with you. But many people are needing continued nurturing and connection for 8 or more follow-ups. Now, how do we make that series? If you're training with us in Thought Leader Academy and doing the Abundance Accelerator, that's what we're going to do at the end of the Accelerator. We're going to actually create the 8-point success follow-up plan. If you're not, you again come to the boot camp next week. As part of what your book and your other assets are going to do is to figure out, it's not just random automated AI generated impersonal, hey, come to my thing, buy my thing. That is not what I'm about. And it's not what you're about if you're here, right? This is real connection, real service, real value. But what does that look like? How do you nurture someone in an authentic, powerful, high integrity way that's a good fit for you, but that is needing extra support and value in order to make sure that this is the right next step for them, right? In certain times in the world, it's like, great, this sounds good. Woo! And other times there is emotional, important, valid needs that people have. So put 3 in the chat if this one excites you, like you want to learn and figure out how. Guess what? Your book funnel can be these 8, part of these 8 follow-ups and make it really efficient. But the way that I teach is not doing this by AI. That's what you can get that anywhere else. You can go to any other podcast, you can go to any other show, you can go to any other team, and someone will say, oh, you don't have to actually, reach out and care and share, and you just have the robots do it. And I don't like receiving that. I don't know about any of you. I don't enjoy receiving that kind of communication. And so we're going to give like the love languages. We're going to give our people all kinds of opportunities in their love languages to know if we're their person and to really be the real deal. Okay. So that's number 3. Number 4 sort of follows, right? So before, again, if you've been training with me this year, you know the first 3. Number 4 is the antidote to the human feeling of, oh my God, I'm giving and giving and giving and giving. And I don't know if this is going to amount to anything. And I don't have any guarantees. And why would I do 9 hours and 8 follow-ups and expand when others contract when I can't control what the results are going to be? And if people are even going to, move forward, right? Number 4 is the antidote for me to do the first 3. And it is to fall in love, passionate, authentic, real love with the work and being of service, with the mastery of your craft, with the genius that is coming forth, with the big magic that is pouring through you, and being a contribution. Because when we're in love with actually creating the value of those assets when we expand, when others contract, and doing the 9 hours of interactive time and giving the 8 nurturing follow-ups, when we are in love with our people and the work and the big magic that is coming through us, again, that lighthouse light is going on and it is shining out across the whole globe, even in a very dark sky, dark sea, dead of night. Because passion and love and generosity are contagious. When you feel them and that's your come from and you give from that, that is what returns and people feel the difference. And it also frees you in the short term from the resistance to potential rejection and the discouragement of putting something out that doesn't seem like it's getting a response and not seeing results yet. Remember, 99% of a manifestation happens before we see physical results. 99%. And so this is how we become superhuman leaders. This is how we are showing up to do the first 3. Because I got 7 messages last week from colleagues, friends, some clients who said, how do you keep showing up if it doesn't seem like the response is there yet? Like, how do you do it? And I really sat with this, and that's why I've added number 4 to the things that we need to succeed in this year. Because the only way it works, for me at least, is if I am so in love with the people and the gift and the work and the contribution and the craft that is its own generative reward, incentive. And it doesn't mean any of us want or deserve to put all this stuff out and never have anything happen. That is not what we're talking about here. Things will happen. And the leaders who are doing these 4 things are thriving, having some of their best income quarters, their best impact quarters. They are up leveling and they are rising in all the ways. It just doesn't sometimes happen in the time frame that we're used to, or that we want, or that we think other people in Fake Book and other places are saying it does. And this is the way we rise. We rise by caring so much about, here is what I'm going to bring forth, my legacy, and reminding ourselves that, you decide if you believe this, but that the universe is your source. Life is your source, not a particular program, client, product, book sale. Because when we liberate ourselves from thinking that those things are our source and realize that we will be taken care of, that we will be prospered, that when we will be expanded, and everyone will win, because more people get the miracle that only you can bring, and more people will invest with you. And when timelines are shorter, right? And people might be in a more fast invest, quick thing, and they don't maybe require expansion when others contract, and 9 hours of interactive time and 8+ follow-ups, and being so in love with the people and the work and your contribution to the world, and trusting so big that your needs will not only be met, but exceeded, and that you will be prospered and you will be more than taken care of. When we do this, the abundance can't help but pouring in. It just doesn't always happen in these time frames we're used to. So my friend got 4 calls last week from people saying, I'm quitting my business. She's a colleague of mine. And I'm just going to go get a job. I'm going to go get a full-time job, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We want to take care of ourselves. If we need the money right now, we go figure it out. But if you can stick with your thought leadership and your mission and your calling, and you do these 4 things over and over and over, not only do I believe you will experience your rises this year, but this is the energy and momentum. So when everyone else decides to crawl back out from under the duvet and the Netflix binge and the, ice cream, what TV watching and whatever it is, you have already been shining your light, growing that lighthouse, becoming the oak tree from the acorn. And all that momentum is already happening. And the best part is that your people didn't have to wait. They don't have to wait 2 years for you to go from, remember, a body in motion stays in motion when you're stopped. The work to then get back into it is not just about starting where you were. It will be starting backwards. Yeah. Trusting your time is coming. And this requires, this is why I said it's superhuman leadership. It's not, human leadership is like, I'm not getting what I want, so I'm going to go take a break until it happens. It's very understandable. And we're not going to make that wrong. And everyone gets to take care of themselves, especially there's been times it's like, well, I get to figure out a way to be really resourceful and bring in X amount right now so that I can pay my team and pay my mortgage and send my child to school. Like, it's not about ignoring any of that. It is about being the thought leader that rises when everyone else goes and hides. And that mighty light that you will create. And the other thing is, people need to see you do this right now. Those of you that were in North Carolina, right? They need to see you do it. They need to see you swim from Cuba to Florida like Diane and Naya. They need to see, if you expand when others contract, it will energetically inspire and empower them to do it too. And then everybody wins, because we're not a bunch of stagnant energy that's going to have to take all this time to get back in motion. We are rising and we're in motion at the same time. So I know someone requested to recap the 4 steps. The first is expanding when others contract, which is showing up for writing your book, going and speaking, making social media posts and videos, whatever those ways are that you connect with your people. Even if it seems like no one's watching and listening, you trust that it is happening, that it is making its waves into the world. The second, 9 hours of interactive time. So you got to get in the boot camp next week, so you learn exactly how to make thought leader assets like a book or other assets, so that it gives people the kind of 9 hours of interactive time they need to be able to move forward with you and know if you're their person. 3, 8 or more follow-ups, real human value ridden, like infusing with integrity and love and care and authenticity, which again, you can do with your thought leader assets in a large extent. Do them do the heavy lifting for you. And then 4th is falling so in love with the work itself, your craft, your mastery, your reps, and the contribution you're bringing forth, and the calling that's been put on your life, and being so in love with your people and bringing that forward into the world that you do the first three, even if it seems like things aren't happening the way you want yet. And this is all these four are held in the container of so much faith that you're not only taken care of now, you will continue to be taken care of, and you will be the lighthouse. You will be rising in your light, and that people will gravitate and magnetize and run toward you because you didn't let all the stuff freak you out and go hide like they want to do. They're going to see you shining the light, you rising, you showing up, and think, God, I get to do this too. And everybody wins. Okay. So this is what we're up to for this week, right? We are going to think about these four things, and how do you feel called? You might pick one of them and make that your focus for the week. If you want to deep dive into all four, make sure you're in the boot camp next week, because that's what we're doing. We're training May 28th to the 31st, and we'll probably add Saturday. I can already feel it coming, right? Because we have a lot to do. Okay. It's free. It's here for you. If you're on socials, you can comment bestseller and we'll send you the link. Those of you here in the live audience, we've got the link for you here. Okay. Invite friends, accountability buddies, whoever needs to be in that room with you that needs to do these four things, because it's not easy to do it by ourselves. In fact, for me, it was impossible. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're making it available to everyone. Okay. So make sure that you register, share it, get everybody in there that needs to rise. And we're going to deep dive into these four things. I want to know for this week, between now and when we start the boot camp, which starts on Tuesday, it's a holiday in the US, on Monday, which of the four are you going to make your focus this week? Is it really showing up in a bigger way, even when others are contracting? Is it working on your thought leader assets of 9 hours of interactive time? Is it the 8 follow-up points that you're going to have to nurture people so they can really connect with you, experience you, and know your heart and know your contribution? Or is it falling so in love with your people and the work that you make that its own reward? Not at the expense of you having all the abundance and success and visibility that you deserve. That will happen. It comes with it. Okay, good. I'm going to read these out from our live audience. All right. So Margaret, you're going to really focus on showing up consistently. Love it. Amazing. Feel into it. Those of you listening and watching, feel into this. Which of these four could you really go for this week, really focus on this week, and make a difference in the trajectory, not only of the rest of this year, but in the rest of your career, the rest of your life? Because every decision we make, as James Clear says, is a vote for our future self. So if your future self is like a badass warrior leader that just like shows up no matter what, or a creative genius that's bringing forth content all the time, then how do we live that today? Yeah. Yeah. Yes, some of you are like, I'm already in love with what I'm working on. And so I'm going to remind myself of that more every day, doing a live every day, expanding when others contract. Yes, so good. These are so good. So we're going to keep this episode brief so that we can go out and implement. Right? We want to get out there and do it. Okay. We've got some of you are focusing on number 4. I love this, not copy and pasted outreach to people. 2 and 3. Some of you are focusing on the 9 hours of interactive time and the follow-up sequence. Yes. Okay. I love it. Yes. Yes. And I love this. Jade was saying, I have a project. It's dear to my heart. When I get it done and publish the audios, it will be part of that 9 hours. Exactly. That's exactly right. All right. So I feel like I want to do like a team cheer. Let's put in our hands. All right. We're putting in our hands. Make sure you're registered for the boot camp so that we can really, really go deeper and implement this. And let's go out there this week and make a huge difference for people. Show them how it's done and let everybody win. Woo! All right. You guys are awesome. Way to do it. Way to bring it. I will see you all at the boot camp, and have a phenomenal week. And just keep thinking, if you get into any of that stuff, which of these 4, it's like a toolkit, and just reach for one of them and take one action in one of these 4 camps, and it will move you forward and it will lift you up. All right. See you then.